Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of Newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. I'm called Morinzi at Top Stories. The population of Bamenda have this Tuesday stayed at home following calls from separatist leaders for a protest against the killing of a young schoolgirl in Boya.
The population of Bamenda
as a group of women staged a protest march around my 8 Mancon while houses were burned down in Womb. And sellers at the Yaoundé cattle market have staged a strike action this Tuesday over what they have described as excesses of an unknown vigilante group. And fishermen and other dealers in fresh fish in Douala have decried the continuous pollution of the waters by industrial and household waste. Those were major stories. Details right ahead.
Canal International.
Good evening once more. The population of Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon this Tuesday stayed at home following calls from separatist leaders for them to protest the killing of a young school girl last week Thursday in Boya, as a group of women staged a protest march around my 8 Mancon where houses were burned down in Womb yesterday following the killing of a soldier. More of this story with our reporter Gladys Ambodiba.
The population of Bamenda woke up to a ghost town city this Tuesday morning, October 19. Rumors of separatist calls for ghost town had been flaring on social media while inhabitants were idling at home observing the years-old Monday shutdown. This to protest last Thursday's killing of the little school girl in Boya in the southwest region. This Tuesday in Bamenda, tens of women marched along the streets around my 8 junction in Mancon that leads to the airport. They chanted songs of peace.
Where are husbands we are looking for? Where are husbands we are looking for? When are they?
Meanwhile, in Womb, chief town of Menchum Division, some houses were set ablaze this Monday, including an old man who died in the flames. It was in retaliation to the killing of a soldier who was on foot to their barracks. In another development, the University of Bamenda chapter of University Lecturer Syndicate, SINES, has warned of a 10-day strike action if the pothole situation along the Bambui-Bambili stretch of road is not improved upon, among other conditions bordering on lecturer security. According to a recent communique, the poor state of the roads offers opportunities for gunmen to carry out kidnappings and subsequent demand for ransom, like the recent case of 3 colleagues currently in the keeping of armed men to whom the communique says they are tired of paying ransoms.
And business activities were today grounded at the popular Chinatown in Accra, in Cameroon's economic city. Douala, made up after a joint team made up of municipal police and Hizakam cleared the pathway occupied by traders. According to the council, municipal police, the move by the city council is aimed at fighting urban disorder despite resistance from traders. It was also disclosed that a temporary site has been made available for roadside traders, a space which the traders say is too small to contain all the traders. The aggrieved traders have called on the city council to relocate the Chinatown. We'll come back to that in our subsequent editions of Newscast. Fishermen and other dealers in fresh fish in Cameroon's economic city Douala have decried the continuous pollution of water by industrial and household waste. According to the fishermen, the water pollution is causing fish species to die in massive numbers, thus having a catastrophic effect on the food chain. The details in the following story.
Water, you don't get no problem. For you to have, I would love to buy little fine fish. I'm here for taste. For fish, I get taste fast one for you.
She is a fish vendor and buys regularly from fishermen at the Wuri River in Bonasama, Douala for subdivision. According to her, chemicals and industrial pollution have crumbled fishing activities for years now. Today it's difficult to make huge seas from fishing caught in River Wuri. Groups under the banner of the Kai, the Bonasama, an association of fishing men and women, they claim household rubbish as well as that of companies around have slowed down activities with serious effects on the economy. Grilled fish vendors, wholesalers and retailers have not stopped wailing. The financial impact is enormous. Actually, the activity is dying out as a result of polluted water. It's difficult for us fishermen to make huge seas from our activity. Sometimes you have just 5,000 francs and you have to share by 3 people. It's not worth it. The fishermen are also accusing some of their colleagues of poisoning the sea, which kills fishes indiscriminately. As a whale, they are calling and begging on government to redress the situation. And sellers at the Yaoundé to the market have staged a protest this Tuesday over what they have described as the excesses of an unknown vigilante group. The vigilante group, the sellers say, are causing more harm than goods. Another reason why they're advocating for another vigilante group made up of only market members. The details in the following story.
Empty cattle markets, no cattle, no client, no sellers. Cattle taken to the different bushes as an act of refusal to sell here. Sellers on a strike action due to the creation of an unknown security committee, which according to them, the committee members are completely unknown.
Now, the problem in this market is too much. Every day we have difficulties. We solve one today, tomorrow another comes up. Can we bring our cattle without taking responsibilities? Yesterday they brought some people to us that we didn't even know them. They don't work in this market. We cannot accept. They even said no cow is going to be offloaded, else the government will take them.
The situation today has grounded the entire economic activities.
In our decision, we have taken 1 month before getting another solution. I was supposed to bring my cattle today, but I didn't. So I want them to wait for me before selling theirs.
Thanks to the timely arrival of the divisional officer for Yaoundé 1, Haruna Nyamje, president of the Etudi Yaoundé cattle market, who calmed the angry dealers with an instant solution to their problem.
I asked them to choose person who they need. I will come and sell them.
By 2 p.m., all had promised to resume their trading activities, first by bringing back all the hidden cattle into the markets.
Union leaders of road transport have called off a planned strike action. The decision comes on the heels of a meeting between the union leaders and the Minister of Labour and Social Security. Haisencha completes that story.
10 good hours of heated consultations between the Minister of Labour and Social Security and the workers' trade unionists. Amongst them, the disgruntled transport syndicate leaders to deliberate on the promotion of decent working conditions for all. Taken to the discussion table this October 18 were a host of challenges faced by workers within the private sector.
The difficulty were really because many of our workers were not socially taken into consideration. They were not well paid. There are some employers that are not respecting the ways of working, the rule and regulations, and we feel that everybody should follow up the new rules and we'll set everything in peace.
And following the head-to-head deliberations with Minister Gregor Owona, and the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding and Functionality, the trade union leaders leave quite satisfied with the resolutions and promises.
I think the patronage is very satisfied because we have got peace. We signed a convention today, both employers and employees, and we believe if every stakeholder respects the ways of working that have been signed, I think we have peace and the growth will be attained, will be achieved.
The Labour Minister, however, challenged the workers and heads of different enterprises to institute a social dialogue, meet regularly to address their daily difficulties. As part of the fruits of this Monday meeting, the Road Transport Syndicate leaders have called off their earlier announced strike action.
Young girls and women across Cameroon have been encouraged to go for free screening against cancer as the only preventive method against the disease, or to roll back the disease, which is curable if diagnosed early enough. This was on the occasion of World Day for the fight against breast cancer. As we hear the following story with Beatrice Ngamu.
According to the World Health Organization 2020 statistics, over 20,745 new cases of cancer was diagnosed in Cameroon, with some 13,000 deaths. Women constitutes the most affected, with 12,235 new cases each year. Breast and cervical cancer dominating in terms of incidence and mortality.
Dear sisters, dear women, Cameroonian girls, go for screening, go for screening, and go for screening.
This emphasis is to say, screening, early diagnosis is the key as far as prevention is concerned.
Prevention is better than cure. Screening and the prevention is in first line of what we'll be doing.
The Yaoundé Gynaco Obstetric and Pediatric Hospital is specialized in handling breast and cervical cancer.
When we see something abnormal, we can biopsy it immediately. We still sit and wait, and we have what they call a frozen section. We send it to anatomy, histology laboratory, and we'll give us the results. We can decide what to do there and there.
This especially as the cause is unknown.
If we knew the cause of cancer, then we'll stop it the next day. They come just like that, but what is very important is that they can be treated 100% when they're detected earlier.
The Breast Cancer Day, this October the 19th, opportunity to educate and sensitize women and young girls on breast palpitation, simple self-breast examination methods as demonstrated. This done at the end of the woman's menstrual period, standing in front of the mirror. She inspects, evaluates using the right palm on left breast and vice versa, checking for lumps, distortions and swellings. This Tuesday also occasion for the official launch of Pink October Cancer Awareness with the support of UNFPA and WHO.
The fund of Sir Biglow II has been received by the new Sultan of the Bamon people. The meeting of the two royals is not an accident, as both share the same ancestry. After the meeting, our West regional correspondent talked to the fund of Sir. Let's watch on.
Including your community is not the strength, because we all know and acknowledge the powerful relationship, ancestral relationship that exists between our two communities. This is my brother, and you are home. You are home. I'm very grateful to the support that Your Highness brought to me since my father passed away.
And the new Italian ambassador to Cameroon has pledged for frank diplomatic relations with Cameroon in different domains. He was speaking this Tuesday in Yaoundé while presenting a figurative copy of his letter of credence to the Minister of External Relations. Hyson Shah completes that story.
The first historic arrival of Filippo Scamacca del Mugu, new Italian ambassador to Yaoundé at the Ministry of External Relations. He is received by Minister Lejeune Belambela for the first time for diplomatic rituals, which demand the presentation of his letter of credence, his letter of introduction, his recommendation from his president.
Nécessaire, la copie de celle par laquelle Son Excellence Sergio Mattarella, président de la République italienne, m'accrédite auprès de Son Excellence Paul Biya, président de la République du Cameroun, en qualité d'ambassadeur extraordinaire et plénipotentiaire de la République italienne au Cameroun.
The 62-year-old Italian diplomat takes up function at the eve of the Week of the Italian Language, beginning on October 24th, which is likely to be the first cultural communion between Cameroon and Italy under his reign. Filippo Scamacca arrives Cameroon from Zambia, where he occupied the same position as ambassador since 2015. He takes over as new boss of the Italian embassy in Yaoundé from the just departed Marco Romiti.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast in the English language on Canal the International. Thanks so much for watching. But don't go away, for have news in the French language at exactly 7:50. This never Senkan with Aimé Kasi Mukuri. But coming up next is the brief with Lil Piejou. As for me, I'll be back tomorrow for another edition of the news in the English language. Good night.